In less than 72 hours, Bitcoin might be changed forever. Presidential candidate pro-Bitcoiner Javier Milei just won presidency in Argentina. Labeled as a Donald Trump-like figure, Milei has promised to destroy the central bank of Argentina. At this time of provisional results, it shows Milei with over 55% of the votes against the 44% from Massa. Now on Tuesday, this could shoot Bitcoin's price to the stratosphere, which by that I mean like $40,000, because Javier Milei actually wants to completely replace the Argentina peso with the United States dollar. Now, if you're thrown off by the camera change, guys, it's because I'm actually packing, getting ready to leave right now. I was packing all day for my move. And before I get to the video and all of the really juicy information, I am literally going to be catching a flight in 5 hours to get to Atlanta for you guys so I can be on the morning show. So make sure you smash this like button because I'm going to be actually editing this on the plane right now, which is why the edits are all wonky. So again, appreciate you guys. Much love. Like that video, subscribe, and let's continue. All right, so right here is an interview that you cannot miss. Javier breaks down why the fractional bank, the central bank itself, is a complete utter scam and how politicians use the printing of money to create an inflationary tax on the rest of the citizens. Essentially, it's capitalism for the poor and socialism for the rich. They consume all of the money from the poor, and that's why poverty has been just exploding in Argentina with the inflation rates. But he also talks about, guys, why Bitcoin is the very solution to this. Now, the video was in complete Spanish, so I went ahead and read all of the subtitles for you guys and did a voiceover. People talk about Bitcoin in the media all the time, but they don't know how it works, and people are saying that it could be a monetary alternative. Do you believe that is possible to discuss it in Argentina? Let's see, what is the point? Point is the first thing. We have to understand that central bank is a scam. It is a mechanism by politicians, which they cheat and use this on the good people with an inflationary tax. What Bitcoin is representing is the return of money to its original creator, the private sector. Money is private invention. In order to be used to solve problems, for example, in bartering economies and the double coincidence of wants and indivisibility, the paper money appears to solve portability. Actually, you had different currencies, linen, wheat, salt, where it came from the word salary. Hence comes the superstition that salt falls off the table. And then that was evolving, and the currencies that the people chosen were the silver from smaller transactions and the gold for the bigger ones. Then, because back then, it was very dangerous to move the gold. People used to deposit the gold and get in exchange a receipt. And then in the year 1445, in the First Genovese Congress, the states appropriated the exclusivity to issue the money. And that's the key point. That's legal tender, because the legal tender allows these politicians to scam you with the inflationary tax. Bitcoin has an algorithm that one day it will reach a certain amount and there is no more. And it can compete with other currencies. In fact, it competes with Ethereum and others. And what is the good thing? It's the return of the private money. But what is the problem? The problem is that governments will not give up the legal tender. Because with the legal tender, they can scam you with the inflationary tax. The Bitcoin is a natural reaction against central bank scammers and to make money private once again. And the flip side is that the thieving politicians are not going to allow you to go against the legal tender. In economies with high inflation, the scam problem is bigger. That's why I suggest you can propose to close the central bank. Now, Javier has gotten hate for things like being an anti-vacciner. He's gotten hate for wanting to destroy the monetary policies of Argentina. He's gotten hate for really not being a nationalist like Sergio was before him. I'm not here to discuss all of his policies and say that they're all good ideas. For example, legalizing human organ donations. What I do know is that Argentina has been in a downward spiral for decades. Even though countries like El Salvador and Ecuador have re-dollarized their own nations to stop inflation as a solution to their hyperinflation. I'm very curious to see how Javier reacts with things like Bitcoin, since he understands central banks are one giant scam. The Federal Reserve is no different, and a lot of these countries are forced into re-dollarization due to economic hitman policies the United States has been pushing upon them for decades, since the 1950s, since the 1970s, you name it. China does the same exact thing with BRICS. So as somebody that understands, the United States has printed $9 trillion in the last 3 years, which we can't afford. Our politicians out here are just as corrupt as they kick the can further down the road. The average millennial, if you're a millennial or younger, I believe the actual rate to purchase a home is like 4 times that of somebody that was living in 2019. That's just based off average home price and mortgages. Okay, it's not 4 times, but this chart paints a really good picture. So there's only one question I have, which is Javier Milei going to legalize Bitcoin or trust in the United States dollar? Let me know in the comments, because in 2 days, tomorrow, there is a national holiday in Argentina, so we won't see any trading or any impact on the peso, more likely till the overnight markets with the bonds. If it's not tomorrow because of that holiday, Milei has to speak Tuesday on his policies and how he wants to destroy the Central Bank of Argentina. If he mentions Bitcoin just once, as he did in this interview, we know that's going to send prices a lot higher.